Thanks for your patience, all of you. I will start again. I will present to you on smart cities, smart citizens, and the case for the city service development kits. And I started out saying that there is kind of an image that many people understand when they talk about smart cities, and this has to do with managing the flows in a city. Data flows, infrastructure flows, waste flows, every flows. And the idea is that by putting in better infrastructure, the city will be better as well. And we think something is missing from this equation. It's not just about more technology, but it is in fact about trust. Here you see an image of trust that people experience within the European Union, both in their national parliaments, national governments, and in the European Union itself. It's rather recent. The last is from 2013. And you see that this trust that people have is generally decreasing. And even it's interesting that on a whole, on an average, people are more trusting in the European Union than in the national parliaments. Well, I think we should solve it or try to solve it, not by looking at more technology, but looking at the people themselves and trying to give them a voice within this smart city. And that's why we talk about smart citizens in general. And I will present you a way that we should do that. First of all, I want to show you these. These are the design rules for smarter cities that we developed based on our experience as in a way to co-develop technology with people. And we think that cities should adhere to a set of simple rules. The first of it would be your citizens know more than you. I think there are more to these rules. We could go into that if there's more time, but I have a long presentation, so I want to go on. Well, just a few words on where I come from. I come from an organization called Waag Society, and that's an independent innovation agency in the Netherlands. We develop technology for social innovation, always taking the people at the core. So the biggest thing we do is called design research, and it's setting up meaningful encounters for people to change knowledge and ideas and to come up with new and better ideas. And based on that work, we came up with a few principles that we would like to make sure that more people embrace them because they actually work. The best producer of new content or of new knowledge is the user of that. And at this moment, people can learn to make almost anything. And I think we should take this very literally. At this moment, with the current state of technology and the current state of the network, especially the internet, there is no limit to what people can do. So we should take them very seriously in that effort. Sharing is the key to innovation. So we shouldn't keep the knowledge for our own, but by sharing it, we make it grow. In a sense, we make it worth more. And putting your hands in the dirt, your feet in the dirt, is crucial to understand and act in the world as we find ourselves now. And these are the principles on which we base our work. We have 50 people, and we are involved in many different projects all over Europe and sometimes further. Yeah, maybe here?
Yes.
Okay, then this presentation will be about openness. And to show you very briefly and simply the power of this openness and sharing, I want to present you first with an image of Google Maps. And I don't think there will be many people in the audience who didn't have a look at Google Maps before. It's very useful to make your way around the city and around the world. But please also look at OpenStreetMap. And I don't know how many of you have used OpenStreetMap before or have looked at it. This is a map that is crowdsourced. It's open and it was made by people who are actually using these cities in this world each day. And you see by comparing them, you see how much more detailed. So this is the Google map. And this is the OpenStreetMap that is much more detailed and much more up-to-date because it's not one company making these maps, however advanced, but it's people who care about their surroundings that change these maps day by day. Okay, this is the moment where I want to go to open data. And open data is a way for governments, local governments, to open up the data that they have for other people to use. And we were very inspired by the Apps for Democracy competition that took place in the United States a few years ago. And there they opened their data and they invited the public to make applications based on that. And within just a few weeks, they came up with very many interesting applications that are still valid today. One is this very simple I live at. It gives you all the statistical information about the neighborhood that you live in. It's very useful as a citizen. Equally useful is the parking application that was made, where you can see the actual states and prices of the parking in the neighborhoods in the city. And this is probably the nicest. It's are you safe? And based on the statistics of criminal records in a certain spot, it's like a meter that shows you where places in the city are safe or not. And as you work through the city or you live in that city, you can, if you want, use that to see how much threat you have. Of course, this is not something you do every day, but it shows us some of the things that you can do with it. About this idea of apps for democracy, we were very inspired, and we started Apps for Amsterdam in 2000. The first one was in 2012, I think. And we set out to work together with different parties in the city, the innovation labs, the knowledge institutes, accelerators for setting up businesses, and developer hubs. And together with the developers in the city, we started this. And we thought it was important for three main reasons: to strengthen democracy and your participation as a citizen in the democracy process; efficiency, to enhance the efficiency of the government institutions; and innovation, to help existing and new companies make new money on top of this data. And we did that, and we got same equally interesting apps. We got an app that is called 10,000 Schools that will help you find the best school for your child in the neighborhood based on many open data criteria. We came up with this very useful app that tells you where you can place your solar panels and what would be the revenue. But maybe in Spain this is not so big a problem because there's sun every day. In the Netherlands this is very rare. And that means that applications like these could help us become more sustainable. And an application like this, open spending, it tells you where the local government and the national government, how they spend their money. It was started in the UK, you put that to the Netherlands. So also there you see interesting applications built on top of open data by the people who actually care. Well, on top of that success, we started Apps for the Netherlands. Same thing, same interesting results. And currently we are running Apps for Europe. And I invite everybody in the audience or who knows people who are developers to have a look at Apps for Europe, because it brings together the best applications and the best developers and the best data for all of Europe over the coming year. But I think this does not scale. It's not about apps that you make in one city and then you make another city, you make the same app and then you make another app and you make another app. I think in the end, these app competitions don't deliver what they should, not to the local governments and also not to the people that are developing. That's why, together with 19 partners and 8 different cities in Europe, we started a process called the City Service Development Kit. And it tries to harmonize all the different ways that you could describe open data. So it will become more easy for developers to make an application in Barcelona and then deploy it in Amsterdam, in Manchester, in Helsinki, and in Greece. So by harmonizing the interfaces in which we make open data available, both the citizens, the developers, and the cities will eventually prosper. So the City Service Development Kit, it takes as its model the way that technology is made. You have the Service Development Kit. It is an extra layer on top of the existing data sets in different cities that makes an easy interface. So application developers will all know what it means to have a service development kit. It will give them harmonized access to all of the different resources that the city has. Because the problem is this lack of interoperability. If now you make an application for Boston, there is no way it will work in Amsterdam. And the same holds if you make an application in Barcelona, there is no way it will work in Helsinki, because all the data that you build on are different. And we will, by having our uniform city service development kit with city APIs, you immediately make that problem disappear. We have, this is the coverage, the actual coverage now. Manchester, Lisbon, Amsterdam, Barcelona, Rome, Lamia, Istanbul, and Helsinki. And what we did is we took a bottom-up approach. So we didn't start top-down saying you should do this in this way, but we asked the developers on 3 different domains what are the best existing standards that would help their lives and make it more easy. And we took 3 domains as a start. Participation, and participation is about how can people in the city influence or talk to the city officials the most easy way. So we made a harmonized interface for that, which got us applications like Fix My Street that will work in the different cities in the same way. The second part is tourism, because tourism is it's both a source of income and a source of nuisance, and it's very good for the local citizens too. We chose this domain, and there we made also a harmonized interface. That is the tourism API that will help people who have access to events, but also related information, to publish it in a harmonized way, so you can make an application that goes from Helsinki to Barcelona in the same way. Yes. And then the last part, and this is the one I know most about, because this is the one that Waag Society developed, is the mobility part. Many people in cities, smart cities or not, have this problem of getting from one place to another. It's as a citizen has this problem, but also the ambulances have the problem, the fire brigades have the problem. They all want to know how to best go from one place to another. And currently this is very hard because the data that you need is very different and is described in different terms. So we set out to make one interface, one harmonized interface for sharing real-time traffic data from multiple sources. And we did it like this. We have the city service development linked data that collects, annotates, links, and distributes open data about the city. And it works like this. We take as a baseline, we take the OpenStreetMap that I showed you just before. Sorry. On top of that, we stack all the different sets of data that are available. So we put them as layers on top of each other. And then we find the links. So we find the links between that different data. And this will help us to get all the information about a certain building, a school, a healthcare institute, a bench, a tree, the streets, everything that is there. You'll have all the data available that you can access in one click. You put an application interface both on top of that, and developers will know what to do. So this is the system, how it currently works. And you see that the databases of the city, that's the lower layer here, they are still the same. We make a small application layer on top that is the same in all the cities, and on top of that people can build their applications that actually change the life of people in the city. We design it for developers, for the governments, for companies, researchers, journalists, citizens, for everybody who has a stake in the city, and it's everybody who lives there or has some business there. Then I told you we are very much focused on openness and sharing. So this is an open source application programming interface. So everybody in every city who wants to implement it can do it, and they can extend it too. So we did our best to describe it in a way that will make it very easy for developers to make their applications. And this is what we are after. What we want to do is to stimulate the creativity of local developers and help them build applications for people that live there and for themselves as well. So this is what we have done for the last year or two. And I present you with some cases. We make some cases ourselves, like this one. This is the open data globe that will show you the real-time open data of the different cities that participate. We did some work on mobility applications, city navigators, schedulers for buses and trains, but also games like Pac Manchester, where you can chase each other on the streets. We did parking applications. So on top of the City SDK, there were parking applications built that will help people to park at the right spot and also know how to get from their car to the place that they want to go. And finally, almost finally, we have made a generic open source dashboard that will show the people who live in the city, but also the city officials, what the state of their city is. This is just the first step because we think that we could extend it in many, many ways based on our talks with people who are interested in this. This is my last example, and it's the Smart Citizen Kit, because I feel that we should not only open up the data that governments already have, we should also help people to collect their data. This can help them to have better information position when they talk to each other, and to talk to the local government. And it can also extend the view that we have of the city. If people start to measure using their telephones, using some open source devices, using whatever they have, this will happen in the near future, and it's happening now. I think we can govern our cities together in a better way. Well, this is my one but last slide. I started talking to you about why we believe in openness, open data, open content, open hardware, and sharing of information. We think that this is a crucial time in which a new infrastructure is built. And we call this the smart city, but we have to make sure that it's about the smart citizens, and it's the way to empower them. It's the way to empower people who have children, who have work, who live there. It's also a way to empower developers, in a sense, and it's a way to empower politicians and the local officials. I think this is too important to outsource it to a few big companies that will sell you more infrastructure, and we have to understand more deeply what it means to make a smart city. There are the tools, there are the people who can help us with that, so please have a look what's there before you make important decisions. These are some pointers. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have some.